Hi, it's Robin. I was digging around in a bin of computer stuff, looking for something. I didn't find it, but I did find this. It's an Oric-1 computer. I've never even used this, so I thought I'd give it a try. The Oric has always seemed like an intriguing, weird computer to me. This probably isn't accurate, but I heard it's kind of like a Spectrum, but with a 6502 CPU instead of a Z80. Neat. It's made by the British company Tangerine Computer Systems, who are apparently inspired by Apple's success with fruity names. Back in 1979, they made the Microtan 65, and that was a kit computer based on the 6502 CPU. Then the Oric-1 was released either September 1982 or possibly not until early 1983. I've been hearing mixed reports, but either way, just shortly after the Commodore 64 and the ZX Spectrum. And the base 16K model, I think, was 129 pounds, or there was a 48K option for 169 pounds. I think it mainly was meant to compete with the ZX Spectrum. While it wasn't a success, it wasn't a total flop either. Apparently about 160,000 Oric-1s were sold in the UK, and in France, it was actually a surprise hit. 50,000 units were sold in France, so it was the best-selling computer in France in 1983, apparently. Okay, so look at the keyboard. I think it's a really nice-looking machine. A lot of people hated the keyboard. It's these kind of, they're these plastic little tabs. See it there? At least it gives decent feedback, but I don't think it'd be good for touch typing at all. Certainly a lot better than a membrane keyboard like on the Timex Sinclair or the ZX81. It's an interesting kind of wedge shape for the keyboard. Apparently has an internal speaker, and it doesn't have much for I/O. Nothing on any side except the back. That's RF video output, not composite video, and of course it's European RF. The 5-pin DIN here is the RGB video out. Strangely, this computer does not have composite video, but does have RGB. This is a cassette port, printer port, expansion port, and the power socket. Notably, no joystick ports. One website I was reading said that computers didn't have joystick ports back then, so that was normal. But that's not true, at least of the American machines. Say, starting with the Atari 400, 800 from 1979, it had 4 joystick ports. The TI-99, the VIC-20, and of course the Commodore 64 all had joystick ports. But I guess the cheap British computers, such as the Spectrum and the Oric, that was a luxury that they could not afford. So I don't know for sure if this is a 16K or 48K model. Sometimes it's just called the Oric, but this badge at least says Oric-1. It seems like a very 80s thing to just add a -1. Normally they don't start calling things a 1 until there's a 2 or a sequel or something, but gives it that computer feel. Just like in the movie Tron. Tron's user's name is Alan1. Okay, so to try and get this running, I do have the power supply for this. Mains adapter for indoor use. Input, 240 volts. Output, what is that, 9 volts? So this was made in the UK, as we were saying, and so it has what to me looks like a very frightening power connector. Of course, this is totally normal for those of you in that part of the world. But for those of us in North America, we have a shared power system, US and Canada, and this just looks huge and scary. I think that's supposed to be like the polarity plug, but it looks like it's being broken off. Oh, sorry about the white balance there. Hard to record these black things. It looks like kind of like it's being broken off, but I should still try and respect that orientation. Okay, so for 240 volts, I recently picked this guy up. It's actually quite heavy. UMI. It takes AC 120 volts, main with a regular IEC plug, and it has a power button here. And on this side, oh, this really is heavy. It gives you two 220 volt plugs. There's the model number. UMI Power Step-Up Transformer LX300C. And so far, this thing has seemed really good. Has a much more professional look than those nasty metal boxes that you can find on there for voltage conversion. Okay, so I'm going to orient it that way. And just plug in over here. And put the power cord in. And keeping with the cheap nature of this machine, no power button on it. Okay, but this is when we run into trouble. I was trying to get a picture out of it, and I have had no success. Now, it's not really because it's PAL, or not only. Okay, so if there was composite video here or here, that wouldn't be a problem, even though it's PAL, because my capture device can handle PAL no problem, as I've shown when using my PAL Commerce 64. This is RF video output, and I do not own a PAL or European tuner. And as far as I understand, it uses a different band or different frequencies than what we use in North America. If it was NTSC RF output, that's no problem either. I just run that into an old VCR, like my Atari 2600. I run into my JVC VCR, no problem. So I don't have a solution for that. As far as the RGB output, I don't think I have a way of directly capturing RGB, and that's not like a standard cable. So I even did try hooking it up to my JVC NTSC VCR from RF, and apparently it outputs on European UHF 36. And I did a bunch of reading. It's really hard to get straight answers, but that might be UHF 34 in the North American standard. I tried a whole bunch of things and I couldn't get anything. I guess I can show some video capture, but there's literally nothing to see. Okay, so I found out that there is a custom cable that I can order from the UK that will convert this RGB into SCART, and then I can go from SCART to HDMI, I believe. So I'm ordering that stuff. So normally I would just shelve this project and come back to it again later, like I often do, because I often run into these sort of obstacles while trying to make a video. But I posted about it on X Twitter, and 6502 Nerd told me to just try typing zap on it. I didn't even know what that meant. And I hadn't tried typing on it with it powered up, but okay, so zap, Z. Oh, makes a click each time you type. Z, A, P, and return. So it turns out that the Oric has that built-in speaker driven by an AY38912 sound chip, which is the same one the Intellivision and Vectrex have, and the Amstrad CPC, MSX, and later models of the ZX Spectrum. And then it was suggested to me, try typing explode. What? EXPLODE, return. What kind of computer has a zap and explode command built into it? This kind. So I had such a laugh at this, I thought, I gotta make this video anyway. This might be the stupidest idea ever, making a video about a computer with no video output, but here I am. But this keyboard that gets derided quite a bit, it's actually super great to type on blind like this. Okay, so let's try and write a little program here. Okay, so I don't know, 10 for x equals 1 to 10. It's bizarre, but the combination of the click coming through the speaker each time I type, plus the feedback, the actual physical feel of the buttons, makes me just feel super confident when I'm doing this kind of hunt and peck style typing. I would never want to touch type on it. Okay, so line 10 was for x equals 1 to 10. Line 20, zap. Line 30, next. Maybe I'll put this up on the screen so you can follow along at home. 40, explode. So we've typed in a little basic program. And of course, now we just have to type run. Oh, one more time. I won't belabor this much more, but I do have here the Oric-1 Basic Programming Manual. So I went looking through that, and here on page 98 is this short little sample program. I note that the previous owner here has crossed out this line and made some modifications here. Okay, so let's just type in the short program. So I'm going to type in new. Now I'm going to skip line 5, which is just a remark. I already know that that line 10 is actually an error in this book. So we're going to go straight to line 20. Music 1, comma, RND, bracket, random parameter 1, times 6, comma, RND 1 times 12 plus 1, comma 7. Typing blind has never been so fun. 30, and then we're going to wait random 1 times 20 plus 5. Okay, and then finally line 40. Now it was go to 10, and somebody changed it to go to 5, but I didn't put line 5 in, so let's just go to 20. Return. Okay, you ready? Run. It's random music. I can almost count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. See, it's in 6/4 time. Very common random music time signature. Okay, Control C. Now I think that's why you're supposed to play that 000 at the end. Let's try that. Oh, it stops as soon as you type even in one key, I guess, just because of the click. Let's see if I can run that again. Yeah. Okay. So I guess if you Control C while it's in the middle of a note, then it continues to make that tone. Okay, so it's just line 20 is just choosing a random note, and line 30 is waiting a random length of time so that not every note is the same length of time. I guess we could replace line 30 with, say, wait 15, and then it would just be a constant speed. There, that's more danceable. Okay, so I've ordered that RGB to SCART cable, and I'm going to be trying that out when it arrives. And if I can get video out of this thing, I will make another video about the Oric-1. That's our first look at the Oric-1, or should I say the first listen to the Oric-1. Okay, sorry if that's a stupid idea. At least I hope I kept this video fairly short. Thank you to my patrons for their support. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.